The wind howled across the prairie that morning, carrying with it laughter that cut deeper than any bullet. "You're too old for this," she'd said with a teasing smile. But when the gun smoke cleared by sundown, the old cowboy had proven every soul in the valley, and his young wife dead wrong. They said Tom Harlan should have hung up his saddle years ago. His beard had turned silver, his hands were calloused from 50 winters of hard riding, and his eyes carried the ghosts of every trail he'd ever ridden. But when he married Mary Lou, a girl half his age from the town of Red Hollow, tongues wagged all across the county. "She's just a girl," they said. "He's too old for ranchin', much less romancin'." Others laughed, but Tom didn't care. He'd spent his life burying brothers, branding cattle, and chasing thieves. For once, he wanted something soft, someone to come home to. Mary Lou was kind, but restless. She'd grown up in the saloons of Red Hollow, raised by a gambler father and a tired mother who died before her time. Tom had offered her safety, a quiet home, and the kind of love that didn't come with liquor or bruises. Yet in the quiet of their little ranch house, the years between them sometimes felt wider than the prairie itself. One morning, as Tom tried to mend a fence that had been knocked down in the night, Mary Lou laughed from the porch. "You're too old for this," she called, brushing her golden hair from her eyes. Tom chuckled back, but the words stung more than he let on. He tipped his hat and said, "Maybe, but this old fool still knows how to finish what he starts." She smiled, unaware of the ache behind his grin. Red Hollow was changing. Young men rode through the town with fast horses and quicker mouths, and law seemed a fragile thing. One evening, word spread that the Carter gang, 4 outlaws who'd been robbing stages, had been seen heading toward the Harlan ranch. Tom heard the news at the general store. Men half his age warned him, "You best pack up and leave, old man. Ain't no shame in it." He just spat tobacco into the dirt and said, "This is my land. Ain't running from boys with guns." When he rode home that night, Mary Lou waited at the porch, her face pale. "Tom," she whispered, "please. You can't fight them. You're not young anymore," he said quietly, dismounting. "Maybe not, but I've seen worse men fall harder." That night, the moon hung low over the plains. Tom sat by the fire, cleaning his rifle, while Mary Lou stared into the flames, her heart torn between fear and love. She didn't understand it yet. The way pride and purpose were the same thing for men like him. At dawn, dust rose on the horizon, riders coming fast. The Carter gang came hard and loud, hooting and firing into the air. Tom didn't flinch. He sent Mary Lou into the barn and stepped into the yard, Winchester in hand. The outlaws laughed when they saw him. You're the one standing guard. Old man, you'll be dead before your heart remembers how to beat." Tom's eyes narrowed. "We'll see." The first shot cracked the morning silence. Tom dropped one man clean from his saddle. The others scattered, firing wild. Bullets tore through the fence, whistled past his head, but he kept his aim steady. Years of hunting war and ranching had carved his reflexes deep. When one outlaw circled behind the barn, Tom turned too slow, age catching up. But before the man could fire, Mary Lou stepped out, shotgun trembling in her hands. She pulled the trigger, the blast echoing like thunder. The outlaw fell. Tom spun around, stunned. "Mary!" She lowered the gun, tears streaming. "You're not fighting alone anymore." By the time the smoke cleared, 2 men lay dead, the rest fleeing into the hills. The yard was littered with shell casings and trampled dust. Tom leaned against the fence, breathing hard, the rifle still smoking. Mary Lou ran to him. "You're bleeding?" He grinned through the pain. "Ain't nothing but a graze. You should see the other fella." That evening, the sheriff came to the ranch. The horizon still smoked faintly from gunfire, the air thick with the scent of spent powder and dust. He found the old cowboy sitting on the porch, arm bandaged, wife at his side. The setting sun poured golden light across the land, catching in Tom's gray hair like silver fire. "Heard you ran off the Carter boys," the sheriff said, tipping his hat. "Town's talking. Folks say the old man's still got fight in him." Oh, Tom chuckled, his voice hoarse. "Reckon so." Mary Lou sat beside him, brushing the dust from his sleeve. Her hands lingered on the rough fabric, trembling slightly. "I never should have doubted you," she whispered. You could have died." He took her hand gently, thumb brushing her knuckles. "Wasn't doubt, darlin'. It was worry. And that's just another kind of love." A tears welled in her eyes. "They said you were too old for this." Tom looked out over the plains, where the last light of day bled into the hills. "Maybe I am," he said softly, "but the day I stop fightin' for what's mine is the day I really get old." She smiled through tears and laid her head on his shoulder. "You didn't just fight for me," she said. "You fought for us, for this life." He turned toward her, voice low and steady. "You gave me a reason to fight again, Mary. Before you, I was just waiting for time to take what little I had left." She looked up at him, the glow of the firelight dancing in her eyes. "And now?" Tom smiled, that slow, weathered kind of smile that carried all the weight of the years. "Now I reckon time's on our side." The sheriff left quietly, muttering something about the toughest old coyote west of the Missouri, and by nightfall, word had spread through Red Hollow. Men who once laughed behind his back now raised their glasses to the cowboy who'd stood his ground when the young ones ran. Inside the little cabin, the fire crackled soft. Mary Lou patched his arm again, her touch careful but sure. "You're not just my husband," she said. "You're my home." He squeezed her hand, eyes glinting under the lamplight. "Wes, we both built it then." Outside, the wind settled into a peaceful hum, brushing through the wheat and the fence he'd mended that morning. And in that moment, Mary Lou understood something she never had before, that strength wasn't in youth, or speed or muscle. It was in the will to stand tall, no matter how many years tried to bend you. Tom Harlan wasn't just alive. He was living proof that age could bow to heart. If you believe courage and love don't fade with years, like this video and subscribe for more Wild West stories where grit still wins over time.